Hey guys, super exciting episode today, episode 100. Christian and I decided to interview ourselves, and the best part, there's no questions that are off limits. We're going to talk about stuff that's illegal. We're going to talk about college days. We're going to talk about the future of BitBranding. Hope you enjoy.
This is the Marketing Natives, providing actionable ways to grow, improve, and succeed in your business. And now, your hosts, Christian and Aaron.
What's going on? Today we actually have a pretty special episode because this is episode 100. 100 of the Marketing Natives. And we decided to, we said that we wanted to do something special. We just didn't know what. And yesterday I actually came up with this idea of Aaron and I interviewing each other and just asking random questions. So we don't know what the other person has written for the questions. So this is all going to be very organic and maybe a little bit crazy. We said that we're going to do two kind of business related questions.
Two business related questions, and the other ones are, could be anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Nothing's off limits.
What? I don't remember saying that, but whatever.
All right. How do we want to start this?
Rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
Best 2 out of 3.
No, this is the first one. All right, 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. On shoot.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right.
So okay.
You go first.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Did you want to go first the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right. So let's start with a real easy question. All right?
Oh my gosh.
Are you nervous?
No.
All right. This is super easy, really. Do you think hot dogs are sandwiches?
Hot dogs are not sandwiches. Because sandwiches have buns just like hot dogs, but a hot dog can't be a sandwich just because it can't have cheese.
But
I've seen
hot dogs with cheese.
Yeah, but not a flat piece of like American cheese. That's what the definition of American hamburger sandwich or anything like that. You have to have American cheese.
All right.
So
I guess that's fair.
Cool.
This was a little easy warm up question, right?
Okay. Let me see here because, dang, all mine are not easy. So, dang. All right, so let's do the opposite of the easy here. This is I'll go a little bit farther down. So, what keeps you up at night / your biggest regrets?
That's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
This is such a hard question to just jump in. It's like, here you go.
That was one of my easier ones.
What keeps me up at night?
Or biggest regret. Yeah, not plural, just one. And I'll continue to talk to the audience what you think here, because it could be anything. So it could be,
I guess what keeps me up at night...
Don't say Netflix. That's not an answer.
No. I would say okay, so I'm originally from Puerto Rico, so you know that. Some people that are listening may not know that. Mm-hmm. But in Puerto Rico, we had a pretty big family and we're always together. And it scares me the fact that we're all just scattered now, and it's hard for us to get together and everyone get together, It's last time that happened was, I guess, last year with my cousin's wedding. Mm-hmm. Majority, probably 90% of us went to Puerto Rico. But, that's that. It's not necessarily maybe it's not the family component, but the leaving your hometown and I think we've talked about this where our kids growing up in a different generation, and I don't even have kids, but that stuff just keeps me up at night.
Right. Yeah.
But just thinking about all those things, all these traditions that we've had in Puerto Rico and blah blah blah, and now I'm living here in Texas, and there's different things, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's just this change, and it's different things, and and that's just kind of I don't know.
scary, the unknown.
Yes, yeah, and I just don't know. Okay, like if I think about like my kids, like I would want them to speak Spanish, fluently, but like what if they're not even like interested in like
I've heard of parents who like try to teach Spanish to their kids and like, look, Mom, I don't want to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need that? I don't need Spanish.
Right. It's like, yeah.
It's difficult.
That scares me. Yeah.
I think it'd be easier, just as a side note, I think it'd be easier if you do it from when they're like a baby and they just naturally do it, but it'll be harder if you're like trying to teach them later. I don't know.
So, yeah, it's just weird.
So, very good answer.
Thanks. Regret. I mean, that was a different thing.
That was a different part. It was whatever kept you up at night, because nothing really keeps me up at night because I fall asleep pretty quickly. So
I mean, I do fall asleep pretty quickly too.
So that was why I said that, was because if you didn't stay up at night, then regret.
Gotcha. No, but like I guess it doesn't keep me up at night, but it does. It's like one of those things where like when I'm just thinking about nothing, like that pops up in my head.
Then that means you answered correctly. Good answer.
Thanks. All right, are you ready for your question?
Yep. Buzz me in.
Actually, since we were talking about family, I think I had a family one. Oh yeah. Do you have, or what's your favorite family tradition?
Favorite family tradition. I don't know if it's my favorite or not, but it's the first one that came into my mind whenever you said that was, ever since I was a little kid, my mom would always make, like before we could open up presents or anything, she always made biscuits and gravy. And so
like Christmas you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Christmas tradition. So we'd always wake up super early. My dad would be like, I'm not getting up, but my mom would get up, and my dad would get up because we were making the biscuits and gravy. And so my sisters and I would help my mom make biscuits and gravy, not because we necessarily want to help in the kitchen, but the faster she made those biscuits and gravy, the faster we could eat them and then open presents. So,
Gotcha.
But opening the presents had kind of moved to the side, and just having my mom's biscuits and gravy on Christmas morning has been like, that's very nostalgic for me to even say right now. So that's a cool tradition, I think.
I had a follow-up question to that depending on what you answered, but like, do you think that's something that you're gonna keep going, like doing with your family?
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, that's actually something that we talked about in church at one time. Is like, what traditions do you want to continue on with your family? Mm-hmm. And one that Brandon and I started, we don't have a family, is the going to a Christmas tree farm. So I like adding.
You have a family,
huh?
You have a family.
Okay, it's just
coming.
Okay, there's a baby coming. Sorry, future son or daughter. I don't know what you are yet. We'll know next week or something like that. There's one coming, but what we want to do is, continue to go Christmas tree shopping or Christmas tree hunting, and go out and cut down a Christmas tree. But I definitely like the idea of like Christmas morning, like waking up and like cooking breakfast together and stuff. So I probably will continue to do that. It's just difficult to talk about Christmas right now when it's like almost 80 degrees outside.
I know.
But yeah, that's what I would say tradition wise. All right. This is kind of around family, or I assume a lot of people answer this question with family, but I'm always curious more about the in-depth part of it. So I know that's enough preface to tell you that. All right. So who do you look up most to and why?
I mean, yeah, you have to say family. I mean, my mom and dad for sure. And I wish we went to Florida for Thanksgiving last year. And I ended up staying up late, just talking to both my parents. Everyone was asleep. And I'm saying late, and I'm talking about like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Dang.
And I mean, so just a little backstory. They're up at that time because they work at Amazon, and they just have weird hours where they actually work in the morning. So I ended up just staying up with them and talking. And one of the things that I was telling my dad was that my grandfather from my dad's side, he was very entrepreneurial. He had a bunch of businesses. At some point, he owned a hotel, a newspaper, a TV station in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
So there was a lot of things that he did while he was, in Puerto Rico, and he was a people person. So he knew a lot of people, and he knew how to like make them do whatever, So he was very good at that. And like I wanted like that, and that's what I want to kind of want to say. Like I definitely look up to my dad and my grandfather, and my mom too. But as far as like an entrepreneurial side of things, I think that's definitely an inspiration for me to like do this business and like keep doing other ventures and other things in the future. And I guess going back to the regret question, I told my dad that night that like that was probably one of my regrets was like not talking to my grandfather about those things, or like, you know, we never had conversations like that when I was in Puerto Rico, and he had done all those things. Like that was like things that he had done while he was kind of like younger. So he was retired, and you know, it was like maybe when I got older where I kind of realized like, holy crap, my grandfather was like a BA, like he did all these things, and like, like that was like a moment where I was like, crap, like I wish I would have, you know, had all these conversations about all these businesses and like all this stuff, and like, I don't know, but I definitely look up to them. My brother was also like a huge inspiration for me. He was the one who gave me the bootleg version of Photoshop for me to get started even doing something remotely to what I do now. So I definitely have to thank my brother for that. And I think, I mean, outside of my family, I want to give a shout out to Coral, because, you know, Coral is also
please Coral. Sorry, Coral.
But I mean, family is usually always like a big inspiration. But I mean, I guess outside, you know, there's always just the I don't know, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah. And people like that, like Noah Kagan, Gary Vaynerchuk, which like you follow on social media, and like you kind of follow their trajectory and like everything that they've done, and like, you know, that to me is inspiring too. And I look up to those people in the sense of like, okay, I see what you're doing, I see what you've done, like, and that's cool. And not necessarily I want to be there at some point as far as like the famous or popularity part of things, but the fact that I feel like they always talk about like, you know, having a dream or having a goal, and like just literally going for that. Right. And I feel like that's everyone who's famous or that has like, you know, it's in that level. They always say that like it was a lot of hard work, and it was just, you see that goal and you just keep going at it, you know?
Right. Consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next one here.
Wait, did I? Yeah, you asked me that question. Yeah. Let's see. I feel like I have them like all like mixed around.
Mine are all mixed in for sure.
Okay. Let's go with maybe something more business related here. So if you had a chance to start a brand new business. Okay. If you had a chance to start like a brand new business, like today, like tomorrow, I guess, knowing everything that you know now, how would you start it? And what would you do differently, I guess, to like, I mean, let's say that you know the information in your head, but you don't have the connections, I guess, because that would be kind of cheating. You don't have any connections. You don't know anybody. It's a new city. What would you do differently, you know, starting right off the bat, day one?
Probably figured out exactly who we were trying to like deliver a service to. So I think before we knew we wanted to help business owners, and we went to networking. That's kind of like we fell into like, oh, okay, now we need to find our way within networking. But specifically, like, what problem do we solve to what audience, and how can we deliver that value to them that they're going to make a purchase? And then also getting more on the digital side for us in the beginning too. We did a lot, you know, in the very beginning from just networking, because we were building digital products for everybody else. And I would have said, we needed to create a course. We needed to create this. And if we would have done that in 2016, our courses right now would be, you know, huge. So I think that the online education and knowing exactly our target audience would have been, you know, number one. And then, you know, this would be a different conversation, but obviously it's our first one. So if we, not if, but when we start another company or whatever that may be, in addition to, not that we're getting rid of BitBranding, but in addition to, I think it can grow 10 times faster just because of the knowledge. And right. And that little caveat of you saying that we can't have our connections, we would still have those.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Wait, I was going to say, no, I'm not going to say anything. I thought I had a follow-up question, but I don't.
No, it's not good?
Yeah, no.
Well, if it's bad, you can ask it too.
I just don't remember what it was. Like, I wrote these questions, and then in my head, I had the follow-up questions. So,
gotcha. All right. So this one is. Oh, this should have been the easiest one. When like, you know, when you asked me about the hot dog and stuff. So this one should be a 30-second answer. When you were a kid, what was your dream car versus what is today your dream car?
That's funny. Literally just yesterday, I was driving down the road, and my dream car was in front of me. and it was a Nissan 350Z or whatever. For some reason, like, I just liked that car so much that even like one of my very first like early passwords was Nissan 350Z.
Nice. Don't try to use it now, guys. He's changed it.
It doesn't work. I've changed passwords since then, but like that was like one of my very first passwords. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, that car, because it was kind of like a sporty look.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's like it's sporty but practical.
Right. So yeah, that was definitely my dream car. Right now, I don't know. I guess like I would definitely love to have a Tesla. Like that's like, I mean, probably for you as well. Yeah. But like, so Megan and I had this conversation of like, if you could have like 5 cars,
Gosh, each.
Yeah, but we went like, you know, you have your Tesla, right? But then you want to have like a Jeep, you know, just for like adventures and stuff like that. And then you might want to have like something super practical, like a minivan, you know, just like carry a lot of people and whatever. And then like, you know, have the Tesla, which is like the economical, you know, and then you have like a really fancy like sports car.
Right, like an Audi.
Ferrari, I was thinking.
Yeah,
you know.
okay, yeah.
I don't remember what the 5th one was.
A dump truck, that's the only thing you don't have.
Yeah, a truck. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not a dump truck, but just a truck, you know, if you wanted to like haul some stuff and
Right. Got to move drywall from one part of town to the other.
Right. Exactly.
Nice. All right. See, I told you that was an easy one.
That was easy. All right, this is about BitBranding, kind of. And actually, I know one of the answers to this question. I just want to see if we're on the same page.
Okay.
So this question is, does BitBranding have any unwritten office rules?
Yes.
Which one? Or which one just popped to your head?
No fluctuations. Was that what you're going to say?
Yeah. I guess that was the one. Is there any other ones that you...
Unwritten. No, not that I can think of. Are you thinking of some?
No, that was the only one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wrote this question based off that.
Off of a real scenario.
Yeah, a real scenario. But yeah. So I guess just to give the listeners a little backstory, like in the office that we had at the apartment, this rule was not in place. So it was just a free-for-all, you know? And it was just a bad working environment for everyone involved. So we decided that when we had a legit office that rule is going to definitely be in place. Yeah. But it's not written, so it's technically an unwritten
We better
rule.
put it on the wall while we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you may have a similar one to this. Actually, let me just think here. Okay. I don't think I've asked you any business ones, so let me go to that. All right. So, what has been the biggest surprise with starting a business?
Probably the amount of time and the self-discipline that it takes. Because like even talking to a lot of people when we were working at the apartment where we had the office area, people would say like, oh yeah, it's awesome, you know, you get to wake up and just work. But other people, and I would say majority of the people, were like, man, I give you props because I could not do that. Like I could not, you know, be disciplined enough to, you know, have a schedule and wake up and actually do work and all that stuff. And we did that for a while too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the amount of time that it takes to actually do this, because like as a business owner, you're doing everything, you know, accounting, finances, HR, management, like actually doing the work, promoting or marketing your own business. So it's a lot of time commitment, and it requires a lot of self-discipline, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then I think obviously we got busier, but like the one good thing about having is that we could step away from that and at least go to the living room. We made our lunches, so we always ate pretty healthy. Yeah. A lot of times Brandon was making us food for the lunches anyway.
Nice,
yeah. But then we could watch Friday Night Lights, which was a very good.
I remember at the very beginning of our company when we were working at the apartment, we would take an hour lunch break and then we would watch a whole episode, or sometimes even I feel like movies, just during our lunch break.
Yeah. Can't do that anymore.
Right.
I was just thinking about the other day. I literally had enough time. It was like 2:50 or 2 o'clock or 2:05, sorry. And I had a meeting at 2:30 and I was like, okay, do I have enough time to drive home, like a 5-minute drive, grab enough food to eat and then come back here because I didn't bring my lunch.
Yeah.
And that's like a normal day now. All right.
Okay, so I have this question here. Actually, said self-discipline, but I feel like you have a greater, I don't know. I mean, you have more self-discipline, I would say, than a lot of people that I've met. Myself.
You've met yourself. Hi, Christian. Hello.
So where do you think that comes from?
Self-discipline? Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's more of a deeper question than anything. So self-discipline's like a muscle. So if you use it, then it continues to build. But I went to college not because, so like, actually, I don't think many people know this, but I had offers for track and all that stuff, and I did run track in college. That's how Christian and I met. If you didn't know that, there you go, little tidbit. But I only went to college because there wasn't really many options, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. And it was really like my mom messaging me, or actually she told me like while she was in the kitchen and I was like washing my hands in the bathroom, and said, hey, I submitted some of your times for you to to this coach, and he wants to have you on the team, so let's go check it out. I went there, and then I just kind of got pushed into it, but it created some discipline for me. But more importantly, I didn't want to go back to a 5-year reunion and be like what I always saw other people like, oh, they're overweight, they're not doing anything with their lives. So my motivation was like, I don't want to go back to my small town and look and have people look at me and think of me differently because of that. So it was more of like a peer pressure thing. And so throughout college, I was like, okay, how can I stay in shape? Which, track was one of those. And then running is a huge discipline, and being able to do that. So that built up a muscle, and then it also just compounded into other things. So it's like, oh, well, what's good with running? And I listen to music, and then people talk about a podcast or reading. So then I would read, and because of reading, it's a discipline. So it all built on each other, but really it was out of fear of gaining weight or like
interesting
losing or, not looking as good, or like seeing other people more successful than me from my high school, because I was like a B student in high school, but I just focused on like sports, and that's all I cared about.